Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of Let's Talk Fluid Art, the cozy holiday show dedicated to all things acrylic pouring. I'm Anna Blunt. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you didn't catch last week's episode, you can watch it here. Here's a rundown of today's episode. In just a few minutes, we're going to be talking to Sarah Mack from the YouTube channel Sarah Mack Art. She has some great perspective to share with us, and I had a lot of fun getting to know her better. Today's giveaway is a Hobby Lobby gift card. Keep watching all the way to the end of the video to see how to enter. I will also be sharing a behind-the-scenes look at my painting setup and listing some of the tools that I use to make my YouTube videos. But first, it's time to play Ghosts of Paintings Past. If you don't know how this game works, you can go watch episode 1 or 2. I explain it a little bit better there. But for now, let's bring in the ghosts. Our ghost is back, and he's big again this time. All right, let's draw one. Where'd he go? He always just appears and vanishes. I don't know. But here is our little ghosty. Let's see which one we're going to resurrect today. Ooh, this is a spiral bloom swipe, also called The Love of Friends and Family. So this one is from my Valentine's Day series from earlier this year, where I celebrated 4 different kinds of love. I had the romantic love, I had the love of friends and family, the love of God, and also the love of nature, the love of water. So it was a really fun 4-part series. I made very different artwork each time. And so this one is sort of black with greens and golds. It's a spiral bloom swipe from the middle. And I don't actually use a bloom paint recipe. I use regular thick Floetrol mixed paint. So I was swiping with a palette knife. It just made this really cool effect, and I think you'll enjoy watching it. So if you haven't seen that video, you can watch it here. And there we go. Another ghost of a past paint pour has been brought back to life. Coming up next, I get to interview Sarah Mack. We're going to be talking about her background, how she got started in fluid art, her original painting techniques, and her experience as a full-time painter. So don't go anywhere, it's coming up next. So I'm here with Sarah Mack. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a single mom of 3 kids. Oldest is, he's going to be 23. My youngest is 15. And I grew up in Newburyport, Massachusetts, and I'm still kind of local.
Nice. So how and when did you get hooked on fluid art?
So winter of 2017, I was on Facebook and I happened to stumble upon George Takei, and he had these video clips, kind of like little video now on YouTube all the time, and it was completely mesmerizing to me to see all these colors and cells being poured out of a cup, and it was artist Carter. And I'd never even heard of fluid art before. So I did more research, and I binge watched, I think, all of Ashley's little clips that she had available and her interviews on TV out in Illinois and whatnot. Or maybe it was Michigan at the time. And then after that, I did research on YouTube, and I think my boyfriend was like, you're never leaving the computer again. I'm like, this is amazing. Look what they're doing. So it was really, really great. Super therapeutic for our current situation at that time with my daughter. She was really sick. So I was clearly needing a little bit of art therapy. And after about 150 videos between Julie Cutts and Gina DeLuca and Saskia Smith, I just got sucked in, and I'm going to the store, and I bought these little 8x10 canvases and some craft paint, and I'm going to keep it simple. 3 colors, and I'm just going to do a booked, and that was by that time it was February of 2018, and I'll be coming up to my 5-year anniversary.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
I feel like, well, of the other people that I've been talking to, almost all of us started basically 2019. Either like at some point 2019, because I think it's been growing in popularity over the last few years.
Yes.
So you're a couple years ahead of me.
Just a couple.
Yeah. So what made you decide to do a YouTube channel once you were painting? Was that easy to get into, or did it take some work?
So when I started February of 2018, I had zero intentions of doing anything YouTube. I mean, I purely just loved pouring because of the therapy that it provided. And I just loved all the colors. So it was kind of addicting because, I started with craft paint. I think I had every single color you can possibly imagine sold. And then I just, by later that year, I was like, okay, I can invest in maybe a level 2 canvas and some Liquitex paint, and because it's, for a beginner, it's,
oh yeah,
you don't jump in with the expensive stuff, especially if you don't know what you're doing,
right?
And because it's such an investment if it's something that you want to continue with. So my kids kept saying, my son, my second, he kept saying, Mom, you got to put your stuff on YouTube. I'm like, no, I'm not doing any of that. I'm just painting for the pure joy of it. And I would paint 5, 6, 7 paintings a day.
Wow.
And they were all small. They were never anything larger than like a 12 by 12.
Uh-huh.
I was too nervous to go big or go home. And then I started posting in Go Make Some Art with Gina DeLuca, that group on Facebook, and people wanted to know how it's done, how I got it. Then I started putting up a video or two that late summer, early fall. And I think between September of 2018 to March of 2019, I only had 4 videos up.
Okay.
I just had zero interest in doing it. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I had put up one video that took off in March because of another artist that had put my video in her video.
Okay.
And unknown to me, and I woke up one morning with 5,000 notifications from YouTube, and my channel went from 450 subscribers to over 6,000 overnight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I'm like the worst kid. I mean, I don't even think my videos, some of them weren't even more than 2 minutes long. And I'm holding the camera and it's moving everywhere and trying to pour it. It was a mess, but yeah.
Wow.
So after that, my kids were really on me about it, and I said, all right, fine. And that's it. That's the end of it.
Nice. So on your channel, you do a lot of different pouring techniques. I've talked to some people in these interviews that focus kind of on one thing or one. Like I talked to David from Left Brained Artist, and he's kind of like the science behind pouring. And I've talked to some people that focus on blooms. You do a lot of different techniques. So I was just curious, do you feel like you have particular specialties or a particular niche, or do you just like to do whatever?
I would say my niche is the Galaxy style straight pour, and then my baby is the Ninja Sweat.
I was going to say, did you invent both of those?
I think the Galaxy pour just came about by an accident. Star Wars out, and I was talking to Mina Villegas on the phone, and we were chatting on video call, getting some color inspiration from each other. And she's like, I want you to pick one. And I'm like, okay. So I just threw a bunch of colors in the cup. I mean, the layering isn't even on the video. Oh. And I'm just like, this is for Mina. And I poured it, not even knowing what my mixture was on any of my paints at that point. And it came out like an asteroid field. It was like completely amazing. and I was like a galaxy style, like this is crazy. And I got all those boulder cells. It was so three-dimensional. It was crazy. It was breathtaking. So I kind of regretted saying it was for Mina, and I've told her this before because it's like that was the first one. So yeah, I'm probably the one that came up with it, but the straight pour existed since Gina DeLuca.
Right.
So I can't take full credit for that.
Yeah. Yeah, but like calling it
bra.
Yeah, calling it a galaxy pour for that particular sort of straight pour with some rings and some.
Yeah, there's a particular way to pour it in, the height of the cup, and then it's not just a simple straight pour. There's more to it than just that. So
yeah. Hey, I'm all for artists inventing their new techniques and naming them and just claiming it. Like my personal one is the micro swipe, which is so I don't know if you've seen my seahorse video. Seahorses have been going around.
Yeah.
So this is my claim to fame basically. And so it's like it swipes. I'm like, it's like a ghost swipe, but there's silicone. But what do you call it? Little ghost swipe with silicone. So I'm like, it's a micro swipe. That's what I call it. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, and it works. So
it works. Yeah. So for your channel, you've got about 90,000 subscribers, and you say you weren't really starting it as a business or anything. But is it something that has ended up being profitable? Because I think so many beginning fluid artists or beginning YouTubers, they're like, is it possible, to like make income on YouTube? And what does that involve?
All of my time. I appreciate all my subscribers, and it might say 90,000, but you look at a video that only gets 13,000 views, and 60% of those people aren't even subscribed to your channel. So it's quite discouraging because you would love to have all 90,000 watch your videos. That would make it profitable.
Yeah.
But I quit my job to do this full time, and YouTube is a pain. They change their algorithms like people change their clothes on a daily basis.
Oh man.
And hitting those algorithms, if it's hard to keep up. When I used to work and do this at the same time, I'd get up at 5 a.m. to pour a painting, and then I'd throw it up on YouTube with zero editing. And honestly, I was getting more subscribers when I didn't edit my videos than more watch time. But I have to say, if you're gonna do a YouTube channel, you need to have the time to invest in it. I didn't get to where I was or where I am without the hard work. And there's a saying in the art world, you only get what you put into it back. So if you don't invest the time and the energy and financially, if you don't make that investment, you're not going to be profitable. And that's something that I heard from a local artist one day at an art show. You're only going to be as successful and profitable as the amount of time that you share and put into it. And that's super important. The other issue after painting for 5 years is now finding inspiration. Inspiration is so hard. And we just got to keep trucking away, praying for the best.
Yeah.
I think it's just a general misunderstanding. A lot of people think that art has to be fine art or has to be, like pristine and perfect and meet a purpose. And it doesn't. Mm-hmm. You can have joy in doing this, and it's like art therapy for sure, I would have to say. And, when it comes to my ninja swipes in particular, those are really hard for people to do, but it's a huge release to be able to loop that control and work with what you have and get really creative with the people. And people love that. They
Mm-hmm.
love they can see that something that looks like nothing or looks like a hot mess actually turn into something eloquent or significant to them. So the fact that it helps people, that is what's so important.
Neat. So the next question was, what is hardest for you about keeping up the YouTube channel? And you said, keeping fresh material, trying to keep new inspiration. Are there other things that make it hard to keep the momentum going?
Yeah, the time and the energy. It's exhausting. Now looking at it, 5 years later, it's my job. I love it. Don't get me wrong, but it is mentally, it can be exhausting to do, because people want to see stuff from you, so it's very demanding as well. The editing, because now I kind of my videos. That's it's the worst part about it is the editing. I want to paint, man. Find me somebody to edit my videos. I'll send it to them. They can do it and put it up for me. I just want to paint. So I would say the editing is like the hardest, and the finding of the inspiration, and that's time management.
Yeah.
When you have kids and a household to run on top of it all, I thought I'd have more time after leaving my job, and I feel like I don't have enough. There aren't enough hours in the day to get done what I need to get done, and you have to self-promote a lot in order to, until you're at that point where you're just fully recognizable in the art world. That's, unfortunately, you work towards that.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have one or two top pieces of advice for somebody who's just starting fluid art?
I say this sarcastically. Don't do it. No, just kidding. I would say there's a couple of things. First off, don't go out and buy the most expensive paint out there. You don't have to. You can create art with less expensive paint to start. And then the other thing is, for somebody who's just starting to paint or try to do fluid art, pick one technique and master it. And don't go big. Start small. Like, you could do a ring pour on a 12 by 12. You don't have to buy the super expensive canvas. It's not necessary. As you get better and you feel like you want to continue down this road of fluid art, then make those investments in time. And there's another thing. You must realize, we the artists, you also, I'm sure we've all sat there and said, this is the ugliest thing I've ever poured. And then it'll be the one that you just can't stand, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, it's glorious. You're like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, we are our own worst critics. So don't be hard on yourself. Let the joy of creativity happen, and happy accidents, welcome them. If it works for you, try to figure out what you did differently and keep at it. But I would say, don't go buying the expensive paints right away. Give it a try. Be patient with yourself and focus on one technique. And I would say the ring pour. And once you get that, then keep working at it. Play with different colors and keep doing it. And then finally be like, all right, I've got that mastered. And with that consistency for that technique, you can add thickness, or you can go thinner to try a different style.
Yeah, great thoughts. So how about for somebody that maybe has been pouring for a little while and they are thinking about starting a YouTube channel, or maybe they've got a YouTube channel and it just hasn't really been growing? Would you have any advice for them?
Yes. Post the same days every week at the same time. So if you're going to post Tuesdays and Thursdays, then you post Tuesdays and Thursdays every week at the same time. And you YouTube will pick up on that. Do your tags and all of that, and end screens and cards, add all of that. It helps.
Mm-hmm. Well, great. Well, thanks so much for talking to us. This has been really great to get to know you a little better.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I can't wait to watch this.
Yeah, it'll be lots of fun.
It'll be great. I think people just keep on being creative, and it will happen. You just have to keep putting at it. I mean, 5 years into this, and it's not a fast growth,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll see. But thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for giving us your time. And we've been talking to Sarah Mack, and if you have not already seen her channel, go check it out. She's got lots of amazing pours, especially ninja swipes, galaxy pours, all kinds of fun stuff. So go check out her channel. I'm sure you'll love it. We're back. I love getting to know other fluid artists better, and Sarah's perspective was really great to hear. Definitely check out her channel if you haven't already. Okay, next up, I'm going to get honest with you guys and share a behind-the-scenes, unfiltered look at my YouTube art setup. So let's talk fluid art. Hey, welcome to my studio. Let me show you around. So this is my little painting corner. We moved about 1.5 years ago, and we've got a big basement, so I have this whole end of it, and I love it. So this is my workspace. It's about, 3.5 feet off the ground at least, if not 4. So this is my monopod tripod that I use most of the time for filming. Let's see, it is a TrekPod 2 from trektech.com. My husband had this for doing photography, and so I borrowed it. I didn't borrow it, I just took it. Put a phone holder on the top. So that is what I do for most of my single shot videos. I just have the one camera here, and then I stand over on that side. And that works really well. Now, sometimes I do a 2-camera setup, and so I have a second one over around here. And then usually if that's happening, then I use this. So this is another phone holder that I actually got from a different tripod, but this is a light stand that I had back when I wanted to make movies more. So I bought some lighting equipment. So this is a light stand, and I've got just a weight rigged up as a counterweight. But this is great because I can put my phone on that and have it directly above my paintings. So that is how I personally do my straight from above shots. There are lots of other ways you could do it. I thought about trying to attach something right to the ceiling, but this ended up being easier, and the height is adjustable, so that's really fun. Okay, so that's my camera setup. My main light source is up here, so obviously you want your camera and the light source to both be on the same side, so that as you're filming, it's well lit and you are not creating shadows on your work. Let's see, this lavalier microphones. So this is the box for my first one. I got it as a Christmas present last year, and I love it. That's the main one that I use, but then I also have this one. And this one is great too. So I have a link to this one in my video description, and I don't remember, there might be a coupon code that I have for you, but this is also a great one. So I kind of use them interchangeably. They do have a slightly different sound than each other, but they're both good. Okay, one other thing that you might enjoy having is a ring light. I particularly use my ring light when I'm doing sort of talking parts. The nice thing about a ring light is it makes a nice flattering lighting effect on your face. Also, these are really inexpensive. This light with the tripod cost, I don't know, $25 maybe on Amazon, so it really was not all that expensive. So here's another thing about lighting. This has a couple of different settings on it. Okay, so my phone's probably going to adjust, but it's got a warm light, a cool light, and a mid light. So there's warm, mid, cool. So when you're using a light like this that's adjustable, what's really important is that you match the temperature of the light with what else you have in the room. So here in my basement, this light that I've got above me, it's a very cool light. So if I was going to be using this ring light as well, I would put it on the cool setting. If I'm filming somewhere else and I've got warm light, sort of as the additional light in the room, then you put it on the warm setting. And your phone or your camera will adjust. It'll kind of balance out the white, no matter what setting it is. But you don't want two different temperatures of light. You don't want, like bluish light coming from a window and a yellow light on the other side. So if you're using natural light from a window as one of your light sources, then put the ring light on the cool setting, and that way the tone will be consistent overall. All right, let me show you what I do with my computer once it's filmed. How do I edit my videos and make thumbnails and things like that? Okay, so my computer right now is actually an iPad Pro because my computer died a couple years ago, and just for different reasons we decided instead of buying me a new MacBook laptop, let's get me an iPad Pro. So that's what I use, and so I can give you my recommendations for things based on what I have. If you have a computer, you're going to have access to different software, whether that's an Apple computer or a Windows computer. There's going to be different software, so not all of this may be applicable to you, but here's what I use. My editing software is called LumaFusion, and I love it. LumaFusion, it was really cheap. I think it was like maybe $30 to buy in the App Store. So as you can see here, it's a linear timeline, and there's at least 4, maybe 5 different layers of video, so you can stack different things on top of each other. You can stack 2 video clips on top, you can change the size, you can add titles and transitions. So this is my latest episode, my latest Let's Talk Fluid Art episode last week. So, you can see I've got 2 different camera angles for the interview with Jody that I've layered on top of each other. And then I've got, titles and transitions and stuff, and different music that I'm able to add. So this title, for example, here. So this one, you can go in. That's a really flattering shot of me. You can go in and you can adjust the, what it says, and then you can copy and paste those. There's all these other over here on the side. There's different titles that you can use. So I really like this particular software. The other thing that I like about it is, if you have 2 different video clips over top of each other. For example, here where I'm talking about my Christmas ornament video. So let's go up to this Christmas ornament video. Right now it's sitting on top of the other one. In this, I can change the size, and I could have it be an overlay if I wanted. I could spin it if I wanted. I'm not going to do that, but I could if I wanted. So let's put that back the way it was. But that's what's cool about this. I have some experience with Final Cut Pro, which is a really great editing software. This reminds me of Final Cut, except it's even easier, it's more streamlined, it's easier to use. So it's a great sort of prosumer editing software where you want to push things a little bit further than just iMovie, but you don't want to spend the big bucks. So LumaFusion, highly recommend it. Okay, so for example, after you have edited your video, you need a strong thumbnail. Making a strong thumbnail, there are more photo editing softwares out there. than video editing software, so I think most people have an easier time of that. But let me just show you a couple ways that you could go about making a thumbnail for your video. So the first way would just be using your Photos app. So for example, let's take that episode, that Let's Talk Fluid Art episode. So I go through and I find one and I'm like, all right, let's say that this was going to be what I wanted. It's a little strange. So I like to take a screen grab and I sort of go through the video and take a few screen grabs, you know, just to be like, yeah, what is going to be the best eye-catching shot? Okay, that one's not too bad. All right, so then I would go back and pick one. You know, do I like this one? Do I like this one? Do I like this one? Let's do this last one. So I'd go ahead and edit it to a 16:9. That's the format. So you can do that right in Photos, and then you can do the markup feature and add some text. So let's say I was going to add something that said, "Let's talk fluid art." Oh. And then let's make it red and big. Let's talk fluid art. There we go. There's a thumbnail. Let's talk fluid art. Now that might not be exactly what you want. Another thing that you can do that I like to do. So here's my latest other video, this Christmas wreath. Love it. All right, so we'll see what would be a good thumbnail for this. So maybe it's this. Okay, so we take a screenshot of that. All right, so let's go ahead and edit this. So we'll go in, we will put it to 16:9, and then there's all this empty space at the bottom. Maybe we don't want that, so we're going to crop it in just a little bit more. And then maybe we want to brighten it up a little bit. The exposure, you know, maybe we want to do that. Let's do that. Okay, markup. So then here we might say, I don't know, Christmas wreath. Christmas wreath, acrylic pour. Okay, let's make it big. Christmas wreath acrylic pour. We'll change the color to something that matches. And then I like to add like an arrow, because it makes it a little bit more eye-catching and interesting. So for example, that might be a good thumbnail. So I usually use a different software. I usually use Procreate because I was able to get that on my iPad. Procreate, I can make a little bit nicer. For example, this is what I did for the Christmas wreath painting. And I really like that. I'm able to add more detail, but it does cost money. So if you're just starting, you can get some pretty good results just using Photos. But that's how I do it. After I finish painting and filming, this is how I finish my videos. I hope that was helpful. Anna, back to you. Well, I hope you found that helpful. Maybe it gave you some ideas either for your painting setup or for your editing process. If you've got questions, feel free to leave a comment in this video and I will do my best to answer them. And now what you've all been waiting for, the giveaway. Once again, Kate is back to show us what we're giving away today, so let's give it up for Kate! Ooh, what we have here is a hiccuping girl. She's got the hiccups today. We have a paper that says $10 Hobby Lobby gift card. Woo! Thanks, Kate. So I love the Master's Touch Grandeur canvases that they sell at Hobby Lobby. They're a really great professional quality canvas, and when they go on sale every other week, they're actually quite affordable. So this gift card will get you basically a 12 by 12 inch canvas or something equivalent to that. If you live out of the country or you don't have a Hobby Lobby close to you, instead of sending you a gift card, a physical gift card, I will PayPal you $10 instead, which you can spend on the art supplies of your choice. Here's how you enter. Leave a comment below on this video. That's one vote. Feel free to leave lots of comments to rack up the votes. That's totally fine. Once this video reaches 1,000 views, I'll go through all the comments and randomly select one, and then I'll notify you by replying to your YouTube comment. But that's it. Share this video with your friends because the faster it hits 1,000 views, the faster you could win. Thanks everyone for joining me for episode 4 of Let's Talk Fluid Art. I hope you'll come back next Thursday where I'm going to mix things up a little bit for my New Year's Eve show. The premiere is at 9 a.m. Eastern Time if you'd like to hop on for the live chat, or of course you can join me whenever is convenient for you. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next week. Bye!